Hey, what's up? Nasser Malik here. Welcome to another IoT tutorial. In this tutorial, we will be building a jig for ESP8266 version 12. Some folks asked about it, so I'm going to do this quick tutorial, show you how to put it together. Please leave the comments below. I will go through the comments and select a lucky winner to give away this jig. This is not the breadboard or the ESP board itself, but the jig we're going to create in this tutorial. I will give it away and ship it to you guys for free. So please leave the comments below. So for this project, you will need following items. You will need a breadboard to test it in. You will need a PCB, double-sided PCB, a 2mm male header pin strip, a soldering iron and resin core, and an ESP-12E version board, and a 2.5mm male header strip. And this is what we'll be creating. So a little jig that you can put on a breadboard to program it. So let's get started. So let's talk about this ESP12E version chip. It's pretty small, and I try to solder it and try different ways to program it, and I have quite a few, more than 10 I believe, and I need to program them for all my automation projects. And I even try to like solder the breadboard pins and all that stuff, and this is not very good. It's very difficult, and it keep breaking up, and it's ruining the connectors also. So then I started thinking maybe creating a jig, and so I came up with this jig. It's very simple. So I cut out this is the PCB, double-sided PCB that you can order online. They're pretty cheap. So I basically put the 2mm headers on it and soldered them on the top, and then put the 2.5mm on the bottom, and created this little thing. And it's easy to put in a chip inside like this. So if you can from one side, if you could just match these holes up like that, and from the other side you can just pop it in, and it just popped. Yeah, I'm not gonna push it all the way down, but it just popped, and then I can take it out when it's all the way down. Sometime when the chip is new, you may don't want to pull on this. You want to probably use the backside of the tweezer and then wiggle it a little bit and bring it up. A few times you do that, then you'll be able to use you'll be able to take it out and put it back with the hand easily. So when the jig is new, it's a little bit difficult to put it back in and take it out. So it's already in there. If I press it, it'll go down. So I wanted something that I can use to quickly put in the chips in there, the ESP boards in there, and then they're breadboard friendly, so I can put them on a breadboard and I can hook and program them, and then I can put it in wherever I need to. So I'm using these instead of development boards because I want to create really small package and put it in the outlets throughout the house. So I wanted to save some space because it's not possible to save all the outlets in the house. So I wanted to save some space and I don't know, keep the size smaller. So let's take a look at how to put it together. So the first thing you're gonna do is get a PCB board and line up your chips. So if you look at it like this way, you want to make sure that what I did is I could have just connected them underneath this row to make even the board smaller. So what I wanted to do is to have at least 2 rows exposed, so I can connect with the 2 point and these headers from here to here, and then underneath the board I can connect the 2.5 pins underneath it. So basically you're gonna line up like this, and you're going to mark it to cut the board from here. You can score it with the like a utility knife or something like that and keep doing it. It takes a while. My hands got tired, so I took out my Dermil to cut it out. And you want to cut it out from here and cut this part of the board because it's kind of like wider. So if you have it on a PCB board, you won't be able to hook anything up. So if you look at it, so the board itself, if you don't cut it, you're not going to have any pinholes left in there to plug in your wires. So you need to cut from here, so at least the one row of the holes is available on both sides for you to hook. If you need more room, you can probably cut it from here. So instead of doing it like something like this, having the header pins out from here to there, so you can either, if you look at on the angle, they're a little bit on the angle, so instead of connecting them there, you can connect them inside here and then put your 2.5 breadboard pins in here. So you'll have two rows available on your breadboard. But I wanted it like that because when I put in a flash mode, I just grab these two pins, the ground and GPIO, and then put it in a flash mode. I mean, it's just a quick, simple jig to create. So let's go ahead and do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out. And so to cut it out, I'm gonna put the I'm going to put this ESP board here. So now I know. So I know from this I need to cut it from here, all the green part right here, and leave the last row available to hook up from the underneath. And from here I need to just mark it to make sure I cut out this part from here. If you're going to use these headers, so make sure then you leave some room and cut them from there, and you can use them later on. But I'm not going to be using these headers anyway, so I'm not going to worry about them. So I'm just going to cut them from there. And by the way, I want to mention this. Okay guys, I'm done cutting this off in IRD. Sand it a little bit down to make it smoother. So let's look at on the breadboard. So yep, so it's almost it clears one line on this side and one on the other side. And I left a couple of them in there in case somebody wants to use the pins on the bottom, because there are few GPIO pins here if somebody wants to use them. So to put it together, it's very easy. So first thing you need to do is you take these pins right here, and you're going to see this is 2mm pins. I don't know if you can see clearly. These are small ones. So there's a short end and a long end. So the short end goes into the chip right here like this underneath it. So I'm going to put it, I can't see it through the camera, so let me see if I can see it from here. So like that. So you put it like that from the ESP board from the bottom. So once they're in place, you need to make sure you break them from here, this part from the last pin. So I'm going to just break it from here. So I'm going to put my nail in here, and I'm going to just push it like that, and with this finger put it up and break it from here. So I'm going to do this. Hopefully I can do this. Okay, there you go. So there you go. So I put in these pins and they're in place. I'm going to do the other side. So the short end goes into the board and the long end stays on the bottom. So I'm going to do the same thing here. So they're in place. I don't know if you can clearly see them or not. They're in place, and I need to break them from here, from the last pin. So I'm gonna put my nail in the groove. There's a groove here. So I'm gonna put the nail in the groove, and I'm gonna snap it like that. There you go. So if you see, I don't know if you can see clearly. So they're in place. So the long end's on the bottom, short end on the top. Make sure it's in the place like that. So there's no gap in between on the bottom on either side. So now you need to make sure so the how you're going to solder it, it's pretty easy. So what do you do? You line up like this on both sides, make sure, and you're gonna hold it down with your hand and take the tweezers and and you pull the one leg out like this to this hole right here, and you solder it, and then you do the other side the same way, and then both side, and then it becomes easy. You take one by one and you solder the entire, and it's not that hard. So I don't know, let me see if you can see. So if you can see, I just took the tweezers and I pull one leg, and it doesn't have to be precisely on the top, it just needs to be close enough so you can solder it. And before you solder, make sure to apply some flux on these so it's easy on this row also. So let's do that. So I'm going to just take this and apply some flux here, just lightly. You don't need a lot of it. And do the other side when I'm ready. So then I'm going to use the resin core, and I'll hold it like that. And my iron gets hot enough so I can solder this. I don't know if this is the right angle for you guys to see. Okay. So I just want to make sure this last leg goes in here, and so there's only, so if you look at it, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you need 8 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this one will be pulled down this way, like that in here, and this one will be, so you have to be a little bit offset from here like that. So there you go. So pull this towards the first hole right here, and we can always adjust it. You need to get it started first. So this one, so I'm gonna solder this one and this one first. So let's do that. So I don't know if you can guys see clearly or not. I'm trying to find an angle where I can hold it and you guys can see it. So let me see if you guys can see this. Okay. So I am going to heat it up and apply some. In a little bit. There you go. One of them is in place. Let's do the other one. I'm going to adjust the other one. Make sure you have it a little bit straightened up like that, and you pull this towards this connector. You need some opening in here. So I'm going to go ahead and solder this in place. Okay, this side is in place. Let's do the other. So basically you're doing both sides, one on first one and last one on both sides, and adjust your board so make sure it's centered. So now I'm going to apply flux on the first one, and and the last one, and then we can adjust it. And it's pretty flexible. Even after you solder it, it still be movable. You can move it around. So now we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to move this here and move this one here, and I'm going to just adjust these a little bit so I can push them on the other side, because there's more room on the other side. Just push it so they can get lined up over there. And you can look at it at the bottom too. They're going to be a little bit on the angle. So go ahead, and I'm going to solder these. So this one gets soldered here. Trying to find the angle where you can see it clearly. Okay, so just need to apply a little bit. So, and there we go. Let me do this one. And we're good. So if you look at it, we cut it out, we soldered the first leg over here, and then the last one, and then we did this first one and the last one both sides, and you look at the board, it's centered, it's pretty good. So now what you need to do is one by one on each side, pull them out and solder them. So I'm going to do that, and a little bit tricky because you need to break and bring it to the closest hole right there, so they will line up like this, and they're pretty easy to grab from the tweezer and get them lined like that. So once you have one side done, it's pretty stable. You can move around. You see, this one came off. That's fine. We'll just do that. Oh, the other one come off too. That's fine. Just to keep checking, make sure it's you know, centered. So let me get this. And you want to make sure you keep them away enough from each other so the solder, when you apply, it's not gonna connect the just have them. I can't see from the camera clearly, so I'm trying to see if I can get it where it needs to be. Alright, they look like they're pretty lined up, pretty close to the connector. So I'm going to go ahead and solder all of them, so it gives a little strength. So I'm going to apply the let's start it. So one by one, I'm going to solder them. Let me see if I can get a right angle for you guys so you can see it. Man, this is... I do have a jig here so I can put it in. But I want to make sure I could just do a freehand. I don't like to. So I'm going to go ahead and solder them one by one. You know, there we go. You need to apply a little bit, not too much. Sometimes it's hard to get the angle right because the board is so small. You can always do this. So I think this one is done pretty much on this side. If you can take a look, all of them are connected and they're not connected together. It's all 8. So we're gonna do the other side the same way. Okay, so now what we need to do is the top piece is done. We need to do the bottom one. Just the first row, just clean up the first row and this one right here, and then we're gonna put these in there. So the short end goes into the board and top end stays out. So let me clean them up. So I just make them hot like this, melt them and then blow on them, and then just they open up. Okay. So it looks open up. There's one more left on that side. So let's see if we can fit these in there. So I just need 8 pins in there. So I need 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm gonna break this from here. Okay. And put it here, starting from this right there, the first pin. Starting from the first pin, so I'm gonna see if I can line them up. And it's perfect. Yeah, it's coming out from the bottom. Okay, I'll fix this. So sometime what happened is because the reason that inside it is still there. The reason the inside's still there. So this pin kind of like when I pushed it in, it got pushed out. Everything is in. So what I could do is put a hot iron in there and just press it a little bit and it'll go in. So we should be fine with that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So this is in place. So you just, there you go. Let me see if I can do it on a hard surface. There you go. So I just put it in and then press it down and the pin went in. So we're good here. So now I need to do the other side. So we'll need 8 pins for the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we need the 8 pins. And I'm gonna snap them like so. Maybe one extra came out, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so I'm gonna just snap it. Okay, we'll put it on the other side. And the other side, I'm gonna clean up the holes and come back. So I clean up the holes on either side, and I need to put 8 pins. The short end goes into the board. So like so. And I just need to take my iron and then go on it so it can settle in, because there's still, the holes are shorter now. Okay, so this is done on both sides. So the pins are in, and I'm going to solder them. One more thing I forgot to mention in the parts list, that you need a wire. There's something like this, single wire, thin wire. We need so this type of wire, single wire. So what we need to do is cut them really small pieces and put these, solder these two together. You can just put, if you have enough, you can put resin core in there to connect them, but I put the small wires in there, so it kind of looks cleaned up, nice, and you know, you're not trying to connect other connectors, just these connectors are connected here. So I'm going to cut small pieces and I'm going to solder them. I'm going to solder them with that. So let's start doing that. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take the piece right here. And they need to be very, very small. So I'm going to show you how small they need to be. So they need to fit. So this is how small they need to be. I don't know if you can see it or not. So I need 16 of these. So I'm going to show you one, and then I'll do the rest on the off camera. So this is how small they are. I'm going to grab the tweezer and then show it to you guys. I don't know if you guys can see. These are how small these are. So what I do is usually I put them in between the these two terminals. I don't know if you can see it or not. So it is right there, and if you apply flux in there, they're really, really easy. They'll just go easily go in and settle in, so you don't have to worry about. So go ahead and do that. So you just need a little bit of the, there you go. I don't know if you can see it. I just touched it and then just fall into place. And I mean, you can move it a little bit up if you want. Oh, I messed it up. That's perfect. So I don't know if you can see it. You can see it's perfectly right in the wire is in the center. It doesn't have to be perfect as long as it's connected correctly. But so if you can see, this wire is perfectly in the leg of the ESP board and the breadboard terminal. If you see, I don't know if you can. So it's right in the middle of it, and I apply the flux and it just falls into place. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all of these, and then I'll come back and see you guys. Okay guys, so I'm done soldering all the connectors, and I don't know if you can see them clearly. just make sure they're not touching each other. Just connect each of this from there to here. So another way to test is to take off the board and make sure you have a continuity between this terminal and this. So it's all done. So only thing I would do what I did for the other board, because the EN pin on this one, so EN pin on this one, the 3 and the VCC right here, they require a positive 3.3 volts, and also ground pin over here and the GPIO 15. So what I did is I took the board and I soldered a small wire from EN to VCC, and also these two. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for this one. So I'm going to take a small piece of wire like this. So I'll put it in between these two, if I can get it, and solder it. So I mean, you don't need the wire. If you could just do it without it, that's fine too. But it makes it easier. There you go. So the ground and GPIO 15 is connected, so you only need to provide the net ground for either one of them. And on here, I need a wire that connects the So here I need a wire that connects the pin 3 from the top, 1, 2, 3, pin 3, and the last pin. So something like this, this much wire. So I'm going to place it in a manner so I can solder it. So okay, I didn't do a pretty good job as the last one, but it's good. So it's connected, and when you are done here, you can take out your first time when you take out your board, you make sure you wiggle it like that. See, it just you see it was just all the way down like this. So what I did is I just put it like that, it comes up, and then you do it same thing on the other side, and you wiggle it. There you go, comes out like that. So then you can slowly take it apart like that. There you go. So this is your jig, and you can put it back in. If I can see it, okay. So you match up on the one side, and then you do it on the other side, and this is perfect fit, guys. All right, I don't know which the lucky winner who's gonna get this jig. They'll be happy with this. So this is it for this tutorial. Until next time, bye.